Hello, everyone. Thank you for celebrating here with us today. I'm Maiko Winkler-Chin. I'm the director of the Office of Housing. And for those of you who know, please don't call me Director Winkler-Chin. That's just a lot of syllables. I just prefer Maiko, kind of on the same sphere as Cher and Madonna. And unfortunately for you all, I was lucky enough to be able to walk here today through Beacon Hill, which is one of the greatest neighborhoods in the world. Thank you very much. And the one that I've lived in for a long time. And what's unfortunate for all of you is as I walk, I get to think and reflect, which, sorry, here we go. So wanted to welcome you all to, as I said, one of the greatest communities in the world, Beacon Hill here in Seattle. And as you're gonna hear these comments. And the reason why I love Beacon Hill is for a variety of reasons. One is because Estela Ortega is the steward of the neighborhood in many, many ways. We'll get more into that. They're applauding for you. Yes, yes. I first showed up in Beacon Hill in 1985 with my college roommate who brought me here. And for those of you who have lived in Seattle for a long time, I thought Seattle was equal to Rainier Valley, Beacon Hill, Chinatown, and downtown. And I thought, wow, this is a great city. The fact that I never saw the University of Washington never quite struck me, but I was like, oh yeah, this is a great place. And I've lived in this neighborhood for a long time, and as I was walking here, it was really past that friend's parents' house. Parents still live in that house, walk past there. You know, that's been 40 years now. And I think about my husband walking around this neighborhood, running into his hair cutter, Mrs. Namba, who was the woman who's married to Osami, who used to cut every Asian American's hair down in Chinatown for 45, 50 years, who lamented to my husband about the fact that my son bought a house for $500,000. That's crazy. I only paid $19,000 for mine, right? That sort of, we all have those conversations. In fact, my daughter's having them with me. The other thing that I thought about is I was looking over my talking points that my comms team did, and they're gonna start getting nervous because anytime I mention my comms team, they start getting nervous, is I feel kind of like, I watched the American Music Awards the other night, and do I get to be Trevor Noah, or am I gonna be like Joe Coy, who apparently bombed a few months ago? So I'm hoping I'm on the Trevor Noah thing, but it kind of goes along this thing, right? So if we're taking that awards show analogy, some of you know that each year the Office of Housing does its NOFA awards. Woo, right? It's like the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, the NOFA. NOFA stands for Notification of Funding Availability, and it is for rental housing, right? It's the NOFA Awards for rental housing, where we have announced our rental housing award recipients for that year. Well, this year we decided to change things up a little bit to celebrate all things housing. Unbeknownst to me, I thought we were just calling this the Yay Housing event, because that fits within my mind. Yay Housing, we're just gonna call it that. My comms team has told me no, it's officially called the first annual housing celebration. Also known by Maiko as Yay Housing. Okay, so today, what this means is we won't just be announcing our 2023 funding awards to our rental housing program. We'll also be spotlighting awards in home ownership, as well as our work in the Weatherization and Home Repair programs, also called HomeWise, just wanting to talk about that. So what we're doing today is that we want to think about all the parts together as a whole of the work that the Office of Housing does, and how we are working not just in the splashy rental housing side, which is important, but all the other projects and all the other programs that we have as well, and just celebrating all of it. So, you know, I think the AMAs have their splashy awards, and then earlier in the day they do the other set, like 3 hours of awards that are very, very important and essential, and they don't really broadcast that. We're gonna broadcast it all, but I will not take 4 hours because I only have 15 cards, and I'm already on card number 5. Thank you very much. So now I'd like to turn things over to the person who graciously gave me this job, and he's probably sitting there right now going, yeah, I don't know if that was a good move. For those of you that don't know, I was not always at the city, but Mayor Harrell called and took a high gamble on this, and so asking me if I would want to step in and do this? And I said yes, so thank you very much, Mayor. And I've really enjoyed my time here. Mayor Harrell is a champion for making sure our city stays affordable and has made housing and homelessness a top priority in his administration. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Harrell.
Okay, you said I could call you Maiko. In the office, she says, I have to call it director. Thank you, Maiko. I'm joking. And you are one of the best decisions I've made in 2 years, and I'm so proud of you. And the reason why, and this is not clearly in my notes, is because when I make hiring decisions, I hire credibility. I hire street smarts. I hire people who the community knows their heart and their substantive skills are in the right place. And I'm not looking at her now, but I think I'm embarrassing her because she hates when I publicly say things. But that's very true. And I want to thank all of you because I'm looking at a vibrant, resilient, strong community of housing advocates and developers. And so I am honored to be the Trevor Noah of today. And by the way, they said Joe Coy bombed at it was the Golden Globes Awards, I believe. I didn't think that he did, actually. I didn't see it live. I went back on YouTube and looked at it. I thought it was sort of funny, but maybe he didn't do as well on that particular event. So let me get serious now and say thank you again for the warm introduction. Michael, I'm very excited to celebrate the work that our department, our Office of Housing, and our partners are doing to increase affordable housing in Seattle. I don't have to tell you of all folks about the challenges we have in front of us. And that's why we want to celebrate the organization selected for a funding award. You worked hard for it. You have a proven track record of what we're trying to do, and we know that building more affordable housing is a key to addressing our homelessness and affordability crisis. And that's why we focused on creating bold solutions over the last 2 years. An example would be in 2023, last year, we passed legislative changes to the design review process to cut down on red tape and boost the production of more affordable housing. A part of our thinking is when I created the position of Chief Operating Officer in Maiko, is to look at who's in charge of Seattle Public Utilities, Seattle City Light, and the permitting process, realizing that for many of you, your permit process for those things, whether it's sewage or water or power, becomes sort of an impediment to a good process for you. So we wanted to combine all of that to have better internal systems to make it great for you to be able to do business with the Seattle. I want to recognize 2 council members. We have District 5 and District 2, and Councilmember Moore and Councilmember Morales right here. Please raise your hands so we give you a housing champions, people that are talking about and living their life to build community and housing for everyone. Let your colleagues know we had a couple extra chairs for a couple of the council members here, so. I'm just joking. I get in trouble so much. We also know that there could be an opportunity for office spaces to convert them into housing, and so we propose changes that will expedite the building of all types of housing, even look at where there's low-hanging fruit in that respect. Last year, we over 14,000 homes across 13 buildings opened in affordable rental housing across Seattle, and again, creativity, innovation, forward thinking on how we're going to achieve this. And thanks to the recently approved housing levy, we'll be able to invest more than $3,000 new affordable homes for our most vulnerable neighbors over the next 7 years, as well as provide greater support for the staff and the operation of affordable housing buildings. And I mentioned the staff piece because that's sort of a different approach where we recognize that you could build brick and mortar, but they have to be operational. They have to meet the needs of the residents, and so that's going to be really important. So I know, my notes say Director Winkler-Chin, so I got to go back to that. I know Director Winkler-Chin may mention throughout either today or in the next coming weeks more about the great investments being made in home repair and weatherization programs that help homeowners stay afloat. But first, I get to announce the fun stuff, so that's one of the benefits of this great job that I have. The awardees for the Office of Housing 2023 funding opportunities. Our rental housing awardees for this year are, I don't know this isn't in my notes though. This is already public, right? Or am I announcing it now? Do they know? Because they don't know?
I mean, they know.
Oh, the world doesn't know. Okay. Okay, I didn't know. You guys should have put that in my notes. I just thought, the press has all this stuff. Okay, so I get okay, here we go. Fame Housing and Lotus Development Partners, Bryant Manor Project, 250 homes in the Central District. Let's give that a hand. All right. DESC, Permanent Supportive Housing, 120 homes in Lake City. I have two more to announce. Lehigh, low-income seniors and homeless individuals, 90 homes at Bitter Lake. And last but certainly not least, El Centro de la Raza and Edge Developers, low-income families and individuals, 84 homes right here at Beacon Hill. This represents a total of 544 homes providing a safe place for families and individuals to live. We're also funding $13.4 million in home ownership awards to the Rainier Valley Affordable Home Ownership Initiative that will fund 72 homes in partnership with Habitat for Humanity and African Community Housing and Development and the Homestead Community Land Trust. So congratulations to each of you. But even more importantly, there are times when in this community, in this place we call home here in Seattle, where the community comes together and they fight through very challenging times. And I try to look at people in their eyes and say that I certainly, as mayor, cannot do this without you. I mean, I try to work as hard as I can, but I do rely on your advocacy and your work, even your criticism. That's what I sign up for, to keep us doing the right things. We are far from perfect, but we will try. And like I say, when I surround myself around phenomenal leaders, this is where the magic happens. So let's build together, let's house people together, and thank you for this outstanding work that you are allowing us to partner with. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Maiko. Thank you very much.
Downward adjustment of the mic because I am shorter. So next I'd like to officially introduce to you our gracious hosts for this event, Estela Ortega, Executive Director of El Centro de la Raza, and Joel Ng, Principal at Edge Developers. Now before they come up, and I know that they're discussing who gets to talk first, I want to say a few words about both of them because we are in community. We're in the neighborhood, but we're in community. So as a Beacon Hill resident, I really admire Estela. I have for years, both as a Beacon Hill resident as just somebody that works in the community development field. And the work that you and your organization have done for years, first in occupying the building next door, and then just for all the development that you do. I love that I get to stand here and listen to the sounds of joy. That may sound like the sounds of chaos outside, the children, but there is something that I appreciate every time I'm in and around this area and you get to see the kids walking together, holding their hands, walking up and down 17th, or walking around here. That is joy for me. So first, I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to thank you that for all the programs that you've provided for Beacon Hill as a center for people of all races, your food bank, as I said, the child. I know so many kids that have gone through that through your programs. That's a Spanish language immersion program, and so glad that you are building more child care centers as well as housing. But everything that you do. The other person, Joel Ng, should be nervous about me talking about, because once again we are in community. For those of you who do not know, my husband has known Joel for 56 years, since they were 4. I'm still waiting for I think it's a VHS tape from my wedding, Joel Ng. He took the video at my wedding, and I'm still waiting for it, and that wedding was not yesterday. For those of you who do not know, Joel and his family have been longstanding stewards in the Chinatown International District and Beacon Hill. His mother grew up in Canton Alley. Joel and his partner, I see Evan Chan back there. I hope you brought some chicken wings, Evan. What is unknown to most people is they have personally put up their assets as guarantees on housing projects. And that's a show of their commitment to community. So with that, and Joel is also a developer. Pretty good one at that. So with that, I turn it over to Estella and Joel.
Thank you, Maiko, for those incredibly generous comments about El Centro de la Raza, so thank you. But before going into my comments, I have to tell you a little story about the Child Development Center. And so many children of different races, and you know, the language, there's two languages, obviously English and Spanish, and so we have so many little children, white, black, Asian, Indian, saying, I want to be Mexican. Because they love their teachers, they love the food, you know, they love the culture, but it's just hilarious when I hear that Hilda Magaña tells me those stories. So anyway, welcome everyone, buenos dias, and I'm Estela Ortega, the Executive Director of El Centro de la Raza, the Center for People of All Races. Welcome to the Centilla Cultural Center. In the Aztec language, it means to join together to become one. In the realm of affordable housing, EDGE developers and El Centro de la Raza are joining forces to build affordable housing. I feel compelled at this time to express my gratitude to the voters of Seattle for supporting the passage of the largest levy, a whopping $970 million. Yes. Which clearly demonstrates their unwavering commitment to affordable housing. Without this levy, we would not be standing here today. So mil gracias to our mayor for his leadership to move the levy forward, for collaborating with coalitions of advocates, providers, businesses, and unions to ensure the levy's success. To the Office of Housing, we are so grateful, elated, and thanking you to have been awarded the opportunity to develop more transit-oriented housing on Beacon Hill. This development will provide longtime residents with the chance to either remain or return to the neighborhoods they have called for many years home. By doing so, we aim to foster racial equity, preserving the cultural richness and diversity of Beacon Hill, a historic home for immigrant and BIPOC communities where more than 23 languages are spoken. It is also a natural extension to the development of El Centro's campus, because here at El Centro de la Raza, we provide more than 43 different programs in numerous areas. And the reality is that when people live in affordable housing, they still need wraparound services. The strategic location of this development right next to the light rail aligns perfectly with our environmental justice work. You all know we do a lot around air and noise, and also we're educating people about the importance of converting to electric, which is a big job because people love their gas stoves. Not only does it support smart growth, but it also contributes to reducing greenhouse gas and emissions. In practical terms, it will alleviate the housing cost burden for residents who rely on public transportation to access jobs, education, and other essential services. At this time, I also want to acknowledge our partnership with EDGE developers. El Centro and EDGE are also collaborators with the SCIPTA project on the North Lot development at Pacific Tower that is known as the Beacon Pacific Village. Over the years, we have become familiar with each other's work. This development, situated at El Centro's front door, complements EDGE's two multifamily development within 2 blocks. It's a collaboration that promises positive outcomes. And so now, without further ado, please welcome Joe Ng, who will delve into the specifics of our development. So thank you.
Good morning. I think Maiko said we were trying to decide who goes first. I don't ever think that was a decision who goes first. The only problem is, because I will always go second to Stella, but the only problem is when Maiko speaks and then when Stella speaks, I don't have anything else to say because they said it all. But I am Joel Ng. I'm principal at Edge Developers, and as mentioned, myself and my two partners were third and fourth generation Seattleites. We either grew up and or went to school here on Beacon Hill. And so when we formed our company, we formed it to do development, to do community development. And so Beacon Hill is one of the top areas that we want to develop. And I'm not overstating it. So when we were able to find this project, and it is actually just, if you know where now the tea house, or the bubble tea house, the old chop house. For those old Seattleites, the old chop house hair salon, we're the three homes just to the north of there. So it's just basically on the other side of that building. When we found this property, and it was a permit-ready property, the Office of Housing was actually the first and very key supporter of this. Lori Olson and I had a discussion a little over a year ago, and they said they're all in. And they recognize the importance of affordable housing here up on the hill. And so one interesting thing, and for those, again, that know Beacon Hill, is that Beacon Hill will remain and retain its character because of just the zoning and the way it is built. There are single-family homes along Beacon Avenue, and I think that is definitely fortunate, because it's fortunate because the character and those who live here will not be displaced wholeheartedly with big multifamily developments. The flip side of that is there are very few properties for multifamily and for affordable housing. So you will not see a lot of development here, but we are fortunate for this development, and we recognize that. So again, thank you for the Office of Housing and other public funders for funding us on this project, because we're really excited. And as Stella said, is Beacon Hill is home to a very diverse community. Over 70% of its residents are BIPOC and immigrant communities. And as Stella said, we will market and we will ensure that these residents who are here for generations will have a first look and to be residents of this project. And that is an equal goal of not just us, but I think most of us in this room. For those who have been paying attention, Beacon Hill is happening. Beacon Hill is happening. The front door of this project, 30 seconds from the front door of this project is the light rail station. Across the street, down the block are banks, a major grocery store, services. And so, in addition to that, many restaurants. And I was actually really surprised, but not surprised, that 3 James Beard nominated restaurants are within 2-3 minutes walk from here. 3, which is amazing. So it's not only a neighborhood of great history, but it's a neighborhood that is developing before our very eyes. And so with all of that, I mean, we call this the Beacon Hill Affordable TOD, Transit-Oriented Development. In some ways, we should call it the Beacon Hill Affordable MOD or WOD, Walking-Oriented Development, because all the residents that are gonna be here, they don't need to go anywhere else. And if they go anywhere else, they just have to jump on the transit to go down to downtown or go to the airport or wherever. So, so we're really excited about that as well. And so with that, we too are really excited. Edge is really excited to partner with El Centro de la Raza, who presence right here, this location spans more than 50 years. For those that know, they rightfully and boldly occupied the former Beacon Hill Elementary School. Look it up. I'm not going to go into history, but they did this in 1972, and over this over 50-year period of time, they've truly been the beacon on Beacon Hill, and they remain to be be that. And so we are just really excited to be partnering with them as they have, through the years, countlessly fought against inequality, have provided a wide range of community services, and continue to grow their affordable housing portfolio. And so we look forward to working with them to expand affordable housing. We look forward to working with many of you here in the room. And again, we're thankful of the Office of Housing, the city, and that's it. So thank you.
All right. One of the areas that we've focused on over the past few years is home ownership. And I know that home ownership is very important for people for a variety of different reasons. One is to pass down wealth through generations and to help create stability for families. It actually helps to build communities that can last, as you've heard from myself, other people that have spoken, and just the joy of being rooted in a community is very, very important, and is really affirming and for all the things, right? So my next person that I'd like to introduce is Balan Aiden. I don't have any personal stories about her yet, but apparently she worked in a past life with my communications manager, Nona. You'll have to talk with them both about that separately off mic. Balan. Balan is with the African Community Housing and Development Organization, who's working right now on the Rainier Valley Affordable Housing Initiative.
Thank you so much, Maiko. And Joel, you stole my line about the beacon. Estella, it's amazing to be in your space, and I can't tell you how much you have inspired me personally and our community to get in this work together, because I think 9 years ago I did a tour and I was astounded by your accomplishments and your history and legacy, so thank you for having us. And then also, what an honor to speak after you, Joel, and the mayor. It's truly a pleasure, and happy Black History Month. Good morning, my name is Bilan Aden. I'm the co-founder and associate director of African Community Housing and Development. We are excited to be here to participate in the celebration of affordable housing made possible by the City of Seattle Office of Housing, and express our deep gratitude for their belief in ACHD in our community. In 2018, my mother, Hamdi Abdullah, and I, and along with a lot of community members in King County from the African diaspora, created ACHD to support our immigrant and refugee communities. Since then, we've provided wide-ranging and whole family social services, quality youth education, and elder programs, as well as job training and small business development. But to address root causes of the income inequality and socioeconomic barriers so many of our communities face, along with rampant displacement of BIPOC communities, we wanted to do more. Given our region's affordable housing crisis and the need for community members to have safe, stable homes, a place to grow roots, nurture the next generation, so cute, they're so cute, and establish thriving small businesses, we stepped forward to become one of the first Pan-African housing developers in King County. This took a lot of courage, help from friends like you all and supporters, and a lot of commitment to our vision. I'm proud to say that during the past couple of years, we've accomplished a great deal in developing both affordable rental housing and home ownership opportunities for our community. The City of Seattle's Office of Housing has been a major force in getting us to this place. Last year, Office of Housing accepted our partnership proposal with Habitat for Humanity, Seattle, King, and Kittitas counties as part of their anti-displacement initiatives for BIPOC communities. The Office of Housing has awarded us 3 plots of vacant land in Seattle's Rainier Valley, all within walking distance of the light rail. With Habitat's experience and ACHD's deep commitment, connection to and cultural understanding, we will develop new affordable home ownership opportunities for community in a way that makes sense for those we serve. We will build 31 condos, each on 2 plots of land, and the other will feature 3 townhomes, each with 4 bedrooms for intergenerational families. These 65 new affordable home ownership opportunities represent a critical step in advancing Black generational wealth. We plan to open our first doors in 2026, which we're really excited about, and we're hard at work developing home ownership readiness programs for our community. This partnership is based on innovation that Office of Housing helped to make possible with its funding from the Seattle Housing Levy. It's the first of its kind, and it's an example of how we can dismantle the disproportionality facing BIPOC communities. We thank the team at the Office of Housing, Mayor Harrell's leadership, and for their unwavering commitment to building more affordable and equitable home ownership and to fight the widespread displacement of BIPOC neighborhoods. We are so appreciative of the support of the City of Seattle and other funders in affordable housing in our region. But we also know that more is needed. We are facing historic highs in the cost of construction lending and rising construction costs. In addition to these challenges, most funding sources are not available to the developer until the project is permitted, which represents a serious challenge for emerging developers like ACHD. And so to overcome these challenges, we need and appreciate the support and flexibility of partners like the City of Seattle. So here's my little call to action. Together, ACHD and our partners are implementing a multi-year plan to significantly improve the short and long-term strength and sustainability of our projects. We know our collective work adds immeasurable value to the region. Now is the time for us to come together and push all the buttons, beep, boop, 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 and overcome today's unique affordable housing development challenges facing emerging BIPOC developers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marianne. All right, I've been told to speed this up, so I'm going to start talking like I'm using my disclaimer voice. So the investments in rental housing and homeownership are kind of splashy and, yay, all that. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot of work that happens at the Office of Housing that has a direct impact on single homeowners. And through our weatherization, home repair, and clean heat programs, oftentimes we call them HomeWise. So over the last 5 years, we've invested nearly $28 million in these programs. They can bring people some energy efficiency upgrades, so getting them onto the electrical grid for their heating systems, and a lot of our heating systems are also cooling systems, very, very important nowadays, right? And also doing home repairs that allow, oftentimes we see seniors receiving the home repairs, and that allows them to stay in their homes, because without us coming in and having the work done, they wouldn't be able to stay otherwise. So with all those improvements, it allows people to stay in community, and you can save thousands of dollars in heating bills each year from switching from electric heating to two electric systems, and that is for free. And the great thing about that is that then also helps people become more green. So Myron Curry, sitting right here, he's a muralist here in Seattle, actually wrote into the Office of Housing about the Clean Heat program, getting an electric heating system for his grandfather, C.J. Curry. And I personally love to get those letters, and I read them, and I find out where the addresses are, strangely, and it kind of sticks in my mind as I drive around Seattle. I'm like, oh, we did that house. Oh, we did that house. Oh, I know who lives in that house. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Myron to tell us a little bit about the program's impact on his grandfather. Come on up.
Thank you. This is amazing. And I just want to really, really, truly express the impact of the Office of Housing and the Weatherization program. That's why I'm up here, particularly. And I'm only saying this, I'm going to keep it short, but I just need to say this so that way you understand how deeply this has impacted me. But not just me, but my community. Anyone that knows me knows my grandpa, period. I talk about him all day. I stay with him. I'm dedicated to trying to save his home with a reverse mortgage of $570,000. I wake up every day and tell him, you just keep waking up, I will do the rest. And he does that for me. He's 92 years old. He is great. Like, he still drives. I drive him most of the time. He eats, he's straight, right? And, you know, so I'm just so blessed. You know, his only friend left is really having trouble, and I've been over there taking care of him, feeding him, trying to keep him, you know, at bay and doing the most I can. But that being said, again, like I said, I'm just trying to express to you why this means so much. I am deeply rooted in the community. I'm an impact-based mural artist. I would have never in a million years, I'm super entrepreneurial, thought that this would be my career and that this would be something that would help me reach out to so many communities in the United States, but particularly in Washington and Seattle. I've done murals all over the place, you know, but I literally have been through a lot. And all those things that I've been through, like with my grandpa, with the justice system, with school, with veterans, with at-risk youth, I participate in so many organizations that I can't even name them all. It's just really insane. I get phone calls from all kinds of people needing resources. So I go to these places and I spread the different information and resources that I get, particularly like the weatherization program. So with that being said, like senior housing, all these places, I tell them about the programs that we've been through or programs that I know of that work. That's a big difference. And what makes that difference is the people in the program. A program could look good on paper, but it doesn't mean anything if the people that work there don't care. And so I'm here to tell you that the weatherization program is amazing, which most of you know. Like Mim has been at my grandpa's house, sat there with him, explained the entire process, and made sure he guaranteed him, because my grandpa's 92, he's been through a lot, and he's, you know, I'm too skeptical sometimes, you know? And he's been there every step of the way, talked about veteran stuff, all the different weatherization programs, exactly what they're gonna do, guarantee them they're gonna do it right, not mess his house up, everything. And he's back there to check up on, he was there today, you know, talking to my grandpa. I mean, so that just means the world to me. You know, and with that being said, it's just like, I feel like it's my responsibility to let you guys know the work that they do has an impact, right? I'm just one client. My grandpa's just one client out of the hundreds, right? So that program, the oil bill went up from $200 to $400 this year. So that saves us $400 alone. Now also, his house is 117 years old. You know, so again, things needed to be upgraded for Seattle to even be able to do the work of the weatherization program, which they extended that help as well. They put a new panel, meter up to date. I mean, 117 years old, you can only imagine, you know, it's a lot of work. And I try to do as much as I can with that work myself. And I'm in community, all these programs. Then I'm doing murals, which is the blessed thing. I'm at peace when I do that. Sometimes I knock a whole mural out in one day, don't tell everybody, but it's because I can sit there for 20 hours and just be in peace, you know, and I enjoy it, and it has an impact on the community and they love it. But mainly here today, I just want you guys to know that I'm thankful, but the community is truly thankful. I've spread this program to so many people, and I go to seniors' houses, different people's houses, help them apply for not just this program, a lot of programs, like getting tax exemption for seniors, teaching about estate planning, and those types of things so they don't have to go through what I'm going through with my grandpa trying to save his home and these types of things. But the weatherization program works, it has a great impact, and it's really keeping us safe, because honestly, it wasn't safe with that electrical and the oil heat that was in there, and that's aside from the cost. But you know, it's just imperative. And all the stuff that you guys are doing here is something I'm learning today, and I feel like that's just a drop in the bucket compared to how much work that you guys are doing here. But I do want you guys to make sure you recognize and support that program and people like Mim. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Ryan, thank you. as I said, we do love those stories because we sometimes feel very separated from our work. And so hearing from Myron about the work is really, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the other work that happens in the Office of Housing and the great group of people that we have. We have the asset management team who manages our full portfolio. I see one of them right back there. Yay, asset management. Because why build it if you cannot operate it? Okay? Our market incentives and land use team. I think of you as I walk up the street because I pass by 4 buildings with MFTE units, and they're the ones who manage our incentive programs, which offer an additional layer of affordable housing in market rate buildings. And I see you guys back there. There's also the finance, admin, and communications team. We don't get to be here. I don't get my talking notes. We don't get to manage cash without you, so thank you so much. I don't see them there because I see the comms team because we have to be here because they're setting up, but I don't see finance and admin. I don't know where you're at. I don't know, I see some podium. Oh, and I see the policy staff. So their typical selves turning around so I don't point them out and are hiding in the back. They're way in the back. I see you, Nathan Antonio. Don't be hiding from me. So with that, folks, we're come to the end of my talking points. I'm at slide number 15. But it's the end of today's celebration, but it's not the end of housing, because if you don't know, we have the least number of units per capita anywhere in the country. Not Seattle, the state, right? So we have a lot of work in front of us, and I'm just grateful for all of you being here today. I want to thank the City Council, Councilmember Morales, we're in your district, for working with us, and all the work that you all do. I want to thank the voters of the City of Seattle for entrusting us with the resources through the Seattle Housing Levy, our state legislators who are busy at the state legislature doing their work, and of course our mayor. So thank you all very much for coming. I'm sure there's food. There is food. Make sure you eat. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.